Cheers, Ariel. We're back.
Cheers.
Another Friday. Pints with Ayre. Welcome, everyone. Got a very dinner-like drink tonight. It's very thick and hearty, but it is amazing. It's really good.
Can't see through it.
Nope.
Good sign.
Yeah, so we're I don't know if this is a Colorado brew,
No, it's in Michigan, I think.
Michigan. Well, we are sipping on some Dragon's Milk. It's a bourbon barrel aged stout. So it's not aged too long. I think it's about 3 months or so that they age it in the barrels, but it's yeah, kind of chocolatey, kind of vanilla-y,
Yep.
bourbony.
Yeah. It's not crazy strong. 11%. It's stronger than average. But
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
It's surprisingly smooth though for being aged in bourbon barrels. There's some it's
yeah.
almost like taking a shot with every little sip.
It's not super strong in that liquory bourbon, but there's a hint of it, which is really good. But yeah, definitely vanilla oak. Yeah.
This is one that I will see on the menu at some nicer restaurants from time to time, and it's like a $10 5 ounce pour or something like
Wow.
that. It's usually kind of pricey when you see it out and about, but it's worth it. It's really good. Kind of good
That's,
bang for the buck.
yeah, that's really good.
Well, yeah, we're I think gonna get back in the swing of talking about some of our classic products again. I think tonight would be a good night to just kind of revisit some of our old stuff and
Sure.
keep moving forward.
Let's do it.
So I think product 11 is where we are at this point, the 11th product in our chronology,
Okay.
which is the
P5
yeah
Phono Stage.
P5xe Phono Stage.
Yeah,
Or well,
our only standalone phono preamp that we've done. We've done, the options within some of the preamps. The K3 and the K1 both had optional internal phono stages.
right.
The P5 has been our only standalone phono stage to date. Um,
Yeah, I see it came out in 2003.
okay.
So that
Yeah, my memory's gone as far as years that far back now. I don't
oh
remember
okay.
when things happened anymore, but yeah.
You had a good seven-ish years under your belt by then, right? 96 to
Yeah.
2003.
Yeah. Yeah. Certainly, helping out with a lot of the, at least the implementation at that point. We just done the K5, and I did a lot of the work on the K5. And so this, um, I remember, yeah. So this was, as far as circuit design, was, kind of the evolution of the circuit. Our new, more uh, current mirror based bipolar, um, take on the passive RIAA filtering,
Hmm.
that Charlie had done for the K3 and K1, which was almost entirely JFET based. So this P5 JFET input stage, as almost all of our products are. So JFET input, and then I think I should have printed out the circuit. I could stare out here on it. Because I think it actually has JFET output stage as well. Yeah, it does have JFET output stage. So JFET input, JFET output,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then our pretty simple current mirror, buffer technology in between, passive RIAA. Um, and it was a really, first time in this really short, sleek casework, that ended up being really popular, really well received.
I like it a lot. I love the form factor.
yeah, we've had requests for that, either for re-release of the product or that form factor. We've only done one other product in that form factor since. Um, but it's you know, with that height restriction, you know, you can't fit any sizable transformer in it, so it has to be
Right.
something low power.
And those EI core transformers sit up kind of high compared to like a toroid in some
Potentially,
cases. In
yeah,
some,
yeah, on average, yeah, yeah. So, you know, again, very similar to all the designs, um, zero feedback, discrete, fully balanced, and you know, again, that fully balanced is really, really key, especially for a phono stage where a you know, a cartridge is naturally balanced. It's a
right.
naturally balanced transducer. So
Hmm.
it's best to keep it that way, take advantage of it. Uh, so if you get the cabling right, it can cancel any noise picked up along the way. Um, and to see, we originally used this originally use, again, a kind of special board material they don't make anymore. I think they used, I think it was called, we first make it, if it was a G-Tech or G200. Those were different. I think, I'm trying to remember, I think this is probably about when we switched to G-Tech because they were discontinuing G200 board material. So again, a kind of really special. So like what we used in the originally in the like the K1,
Oh,
and the audio, the V1 K1 was G200 material.
and what's cool about that? What's awesome about G200?
Well, yeah, it's, you know, it's again just has much better dielectric properties, as well as mechanical properties than just your standard FR4 material, and so and you know, in all of our listening tests, it simply sounds better, performs better. But that was just, you know, so I think P5 was kind of in the middle of the transition between G200 and G-Tech. And G-Tech was a really, really similar material. It was probably equivalent. I'm not sure that it was increase or decrease in performance. Um,
Is kind of that copper color kind of indicative of that board, maybe, or that board material?
no, it's a really so I mean, it's like what you see here. That's just that copper, a copper ground plane, because we typically use a clear solder mask. So you see that kind of gold copper color
Hmm.
underneath that. So if you looked at the bottom side of that board, it would actually be a really dark, rich brown, almost not quite this dark, but pretty close. Almost,
Maybe about the,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
maybe about this.
It's about like that. A really dark brown, I'm sorry, board material. Whereas you look at most kind of FR4s are much lighter, almost yellow,
Hmm.
creamy yellow, almost green sometimes. So yeah, special board material. Use all uh, polystyrene rail cap capacitors,
Hmm.
1% matching, so that to make sure that the RAAA curve frequency points were hit on target.
And a very simple design. I really like the, yeah, just the stripped down kind of nature of it. It's just once you set it up, you don't really need to mess with it anymore anyway. So internal load resistor changes and such, right?
Internal
Or
gain
gain
setting, there were
settings.
some
I'm sorry. Yep.
jumpers where you could set 3 different levels. So I think 50, 60, 70 dB options for gain. Load settings were available with diff switches on the rear, but it was pretty limited. So it was either open, which is 47K, or I think 1K and 100 ohms. So it's pretty small selection. The trick, I think we even expanded on it in the manual, that you could, you know, if you were using the balanced input, which is again a very key feature of it, if you're using a balanced input, you could use the RCA input to basically provide a custom loading. So if you had a little RCA jack and you soldered a resistor across it, you could plug it into the RCA, and you could then have the loading setting at the open position, which is 47K. Open, then basically the loading would be set by that external resistor that you plugged into the RCA.
That's pretty clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really neat. So I'm kind of using my cheat sheet here, and I see the evolution update here. It says we upgrade resistor values, changed and added as a rework on audio PCB. So correct input impedance for single-ended connections. So it just, I guess what I'm noticing is it looks like the evolution update for this unit is a little kind of unique to this product, and evolution for other products might mean something else, maybe, right?
No, I think it was the major change was still the same, which was really more AC power supply bypassing, filtering as far as
Okay.
AC incoming power, as well as
Uh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
and the filtering before and after the transformer. That's still kind of really the core of the evolution update across all products.
Got it. Okay.
We might have thrown in a couple other things at the same time in this product. I don't remember specifically what
I
those
got you.
resistor changes were.
So it got like the evolution changes along with some others at that point in
Small
time, I
tweaks,
think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That whole input impedance changes that we realized. We're always so focused on the balanced
Hmm.
connections that there's been a couple times we've been bitten by not fully testing some of the single-ended functionality, because we never use it that way, and so we just assume. And so sometimes, so like we realized here that if you're using it single-ended, that the input load setting might actually be cut in half, or would not be uh, properly terminated when you're in the single-ended mode. So that's what that update was.
Got it. Yeah, I think it's just something that I don't know. I think the appeal of just the simple user interface, the balanced input feature to it is pretty standout. There's very little in the way of phono preamps that offer a balanced input.
Certainly
And
then, I mean, there's certainly more now, I think,
sure, sure.
but then it was, yeah, it was a little bit rare, um, which is a bit surprising considering the benefits and
Oh yeah, and especially when you're working with that low of a level of a signal as a
yep,
phono stage, and then noise is inherently one of the
yeah,
biggest issues to deal with.
yeah, no, especially there. You're talking, phono levels where you might be working with, half a millivolt up to maybe 5 millivolts,
Hmm.
10 millivolts at the absolute tops. You're talking teeny little signals, and so you have to take the utmost care. And running it balanced makes, again, 10 times more sense than it does on a line level product.
Yeah.
So
All right. I know you said that your memory around this time is little faded, but do you recall kind of what you guys were using to test the preamp with at the time, like turntable wise, or did we have a DPS at that point in time?
no, I'm not sure if DPS even existed at that time. So it would have been, it could, Charlie had a Versa Dynamics, air bearing, air pump turntable that we probably still had at the factory at that point. And then we probably also even used my personal well-tempered for some of it. Or there was another, somebody else's well-tempered as well. Those are only two tables at the factory that I remember. Um, that we used before the DPS, which was much later.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited for getting into finishing off our latest phono, because this is a chapter in my audiophile and just audio enthusiast life that I didn't really enter too hard into. I've been buying vinyl for years, but I yeah, I've never had a chance to actually own my own system, and so I'm looking forward to being a test mule for the first run of the next phono.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, we've heard lots of feedback recently from a lot of customers and dealers, pointing out our lack of a current phono stage. Well aware. And I could say that we've have plans and been working on phono stages in pretty much every level of our lineup. The PX8 being the most obvious, and the one that we actually have working prototypes of, and
Hmm.
we're intending to have ready very soon. If I can carve out some time to finish the production layout, which I'm working hard on.
Yeah, we gotta just figure out a way to clone you, and I think that'll be the first step. Is figure out how to clone Ariel.
Yeah, that's a big first step.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
we're making progress with Takoa.
Yeah.
Maybe not a total carbon copy, but he's got.
Not yet.
I think he's making some good headway. It seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's new phono in the horizon here. We're shipping the KX8
Yeah.
preamplifier
We've been
now,
shipping
and
a few weeks now. So yeah.
yeah, and then PX8 is pretty much the final piece to make that 8 series complete.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what's worth bringing up, the original intention with the 8 series was to even have a potential phono option for like the EX8 and KX8.
Hmm.
It requires, it it's not it takes a whole different track than the current chassis parts we have, because like the KX8, the EX8, they have all the digital options.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Right.
we'd almost have to have a different base option that was the analog option, because the current rear rear panel chassis is designed for all the digital options. And so if there's enough demand, I would love to do analog phono option for those products. And we designed the main board. It already has the connectors in place to be able to handle that.
What?
We have the input, the power supply. It's all designed around.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's all designed around having that phono option. But it's just a question whether or not there's enough demand to make it worth it.
Hmm. Well, I mean, but if I guess one thing that I know we've kind of ping-ponged back and forth on before is like, in something like an EX8, the size of the transformer can be a potential hurdle for a integrated
Yeah, yeah,
phono circuit.
yeah. That is, yeah, and that's definitely one of the kind of big question marks and potential um, deal killers is that if that because it's a large transformer in the EX8, and so it's a large uh, AC noise source,
Hmm.
because it's a large, and so it's going to produce a pretty big electric field, and so the big question is, would we be able to, yeah, design a board that could reject enough of that noise so that it didn't hum and pick up, amplify hum.
In an amplifier
Yeah,
chassis.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think it'd be, uh, you know, better, more likely to work in the KX8. It's a smaller transformer. It's not small. Nothing like the P5 has a very small transformer, and it's double shielded. We worked with Mercury um, uh, um, uh, quite extensively to get this really well shielded, self-shielded transformer.
Cool.
So it's got a copper wrap in one direction. I think it's another wrap in another direction. So that's really self-shielding. So it may be that we would have to, even have a different transformer with some special shielding to be able to make that an option in those other products. I don't know. We haven't opened that can of worms yet.
Yeah.
I don't have time to.
Yeah, we can though soon, maybe. We can. I think how the having the phono integrated into the K1 back when it was available made that product just that much more popular.
Yeah.
It would be kind of neat to see that in a 5 series too. I think it could work. I don't think that the silk screening on the chassis would be a limitation.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about the KX5. That's it was not designed in from the start. So it would be there's physically some room, but it's that one's tricky.
Ah,
That one's tricky. I can see some ways it could be done, maybe,
you
but
just
it's a tricky one.
yeah, well, all right. Well, you could program into the menus or into the firmware that given input is just labeled
Oh yeah.
phono or something too,
Yeah.
just to make that
Yeah, that
distinction.
part's easy. It's more just like that, the actual physical connection. So we have to do all new input boards. We'd have to do a new audio board. So it'd be a whole basically retrofit of all the active circuitry inside, which is absolutely an option.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's I haven't put a whole lot of thought into that particular product, but it's possible. But again, like there's it has a sizable transformer in it. And so it's there's always that concern of how to shield that uh, um, of that AC noise.
And I guess that there is in the internal whiteboard in your head a P5 or a PX5.
PX5, oh yes. Charlie and I were working on that. We had already drawn up and we had made a lot of plans for the PX5, and so that's at least again virtually is very far along. And I'm so really excited about that one. And when I, it's, again, in the list of design project priorities, it's up there, but it's not at the top right now.
Hmm.
And I would love to do that one because I think it would be, an awesome product for the price and performance. More or less, doing our X5 20 series circuitry, I I think it would be a world beater. It'd just be insane.
I can tell. I can tell. I get the sense from you that it's something
Yeah,
you are excited for.
yeah, 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 yeah. There's and there's and there's plenty of PXR talk as well. Our
Yeah.
theories, I think the KXR even has it as a preset in its input naming selection menu. I think the PXR is in there. It's even
Little Easter egg.
yeah, it's been leaked a few places because it was definitely in the plans many years ago. Yeah, and it's
There's a in our accounting office, we have this giant poster from Stereophile from like 2007 or 8 or something or
8 or 9.
yeah, I think this just shortly after the KXR came out, and that's the input selection back then was the PXR.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually I've stumbled across some flyers and some manual
Yeah, we actually
covers.
pre-made manual covers for it, kind of obviously expecting to be making it many years ago.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
uh,
We're a couple steps into this already.
yeah, yeah, we are well behind, to not to overstate it.
That one I am very, very excited for though, because I think that there's just, since that product concept became a conversation, I think there's been quite a few advancements and cool new potential technologies to consider for that product as well. So it might have been kind of a blessing in disguise, maybe by that particular one kind of being shelved for a little bit, because I think the time is perfect for that level of product. Yeah, I think it's going to be a knockout, but I think that's all we can really say about that right now.
That's all we know at this point. Like it's still all vaporware.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, there's definitely demand for that one. So, yeah, if you guys want to see, give us some ideas of how you'd like to see us come up with some really cool phono circuits and integrate them into our products. Do you want to see them standalone? Do you want to see them in integrated amps or preamps? Be kind of cool to get that feedback.
yeah.
But yeah, based off of the feedback we've gotten, as Ariel said, on the PX8 coming up here from some of the dealers we've sent around, it sounds like it'll be a win. It sounds like to some ears it's beating the P5 in quite a few ways. So, if anyone's in need or in the market for a new phono, I think in a few months here we might have a really cool new option. And we'll talk about it then when we're ready to launch it. But the P5 has kind of laid the foundation for it.
Yep.
Well, I, being not the super vinyl guru, don't have very many other phono related questions for you, unless there's other phono related stories you have to share about the P5 and working on it at that time.
No, honestly, yeah, I nothing stands out there. I think that was a pretty smooth development. I don't remember any crazy stories about that one, surprisingly. Um, yeah, that one went from prototype to production really quick. There was very unexciting.
Well, and you said the board material is not quite available anymore.
Yeah, but yeah, not anymore.
So in theory, we probably couldn't build these anymore, huh?
Now with that board material,
Not with that board material.
build it on. Yeah, yeah. I think there's 3 boards left over, but we have no chassis left. We have plenty of people asking for them.
Yeah, we might have to charge a discontinued upcharge
Yeah.
if
Yeah, I don't have any transform. Well, I don't have any. Sorry, I don't have any 120-volt transformers left. There are a few other voltages for other countries,
Hmm.
and no chassis. And so yeah, it's a pretty big ask to make any more.
Yeah, I think we're better off just putting the pedal to the metal on the
Moving
PX8.
forward,
Yeah.
moving
All right.
forward. Finish
PX8.
PX8, finish
PX8.
PX5, finish PXR.
Yeah,
And P5 will be a thing of the past.
that's true. It will be, but we'll keep servicing it
Oh yeah.
for as long as we can.
Not that I've seen. I'm not sure if I've seen any fail in the field. We've had some come back for upgrade, but that if you look at the numbers, that might be the I can't think of a single unit that has come back for
Like a repair.
repair.
Yeah.
I can't think of one.
Yeah. I mean, in my time, I've not done a single
Yeah.
RMA for it. So
Yep.
I think the PX8 will be just as good, but this is my dinner. I'm glad that we could have dinner together.
Indeed. Yeah.
It's been another busy day. Didn't get a chance to run out, but glad you can all tune in with us on another Pints with Air. I think we might have some cool guests joining us next week, so stay with us. And actually, yeah, sorry for not tuning in or having an episode last week. I left early. I had a migraine actually
Mhm.
that came on super strong out of nowhere. Like it kind of almost completely ruined my night. I ended up going to a concert still. I because
Ouch.
I'm yeah, because I'm that driven. I went to Crosses, Chino Moreno from Deftones, his kind of gothy Depeche Mode kind of band. It's kind of a newer thing, but yeah.
Yeah, I know last week was crazy, and even I was struggling to find time to try and do it. So
Yeah,
anyway,
by 4 o'clock, it felt like my eyeball was gonna just out from behind my head. So those happen from time to time. So yeah, if you don't get a pints with air, it could be a migraine.
yeah.
All right. Well, cheers, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.